of Isen, Book 2, Kia ora, aroha nui for being here, hello and welcome. This week is something a bit special. If you're joining into our Fate of Isen live stream, you're like, it's not Wednesday, what are they doing? It is KiwiRPG week here in New Zealand. Kia mu whakatau o Aotearoa, or that tabletop role-playing from Aotearoa, New Zealand. We're very excited about this week here in New Zealand. We basically band together as a massive role-play community to bring something really special to what we do here. We support each other, we talk about each other, we play games with each other, and we just hype, because little New Zealand, we're little, right? So there's not many of us, and we want to like share what we do together and make ourselves bigger and more powerful, just like, you know, the All Blacks when they're playing well. They're not playing well at the moment, but you know, when we are. And so we've been doing something different every night since Sunday, and we'll continue to do something different every night until next Sunday. But today I've got something I'm really excited about. It's this other person on screen. So this other person on screen, oops, that was it, this way. I'm like back to front. So the other person I have here on screen is someone I've known actually for longer than I originally thought I'd known them. And I'm really excited to introduce to you all. This is Nikki from Bea DnD. Say hi, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
So, Bea DnD, why does that name sound so familiar? What is it that Bea DnD is, Nikki?
As we are a game store in Wellington that like to stalk people on Facebook.
Yes.
But basically we do dice, we do role-playing games, we do Magic the Gathering, we are starting off with Battle Spirit Saga and Grand Archive. We get people involved, we run a lot of events, we teach people to paint miniatures, yeah.
They do so many pretties, Amy, in chat. Yes, so many pretties. In fact, most of my dice, most of my books, most of the maps you can see behind me, pretty much everything I buy in my life, is kind of all Nikki's fault. Like, you know, most of the stuff over there and most of that stuff over there. Yep. It's all Nikki's fault. It's pretty amazing, actually. So, how is it that you're on this screen? Should we talk about how we kind of know each other? Like, what, like...
Sure.
It's kind of a confusing thing, right? Because, like, when we met each other for roleplay gaming, was me walking into a store being like, hi, you're a new D&D store and I really want to get to know you, hi.
And I was like, hi, this seems like a really good idea. Come and play some games with all of like my customers, and they love and adore you.
It's true, right? And we started playing, and we started hanging out, and I started buying a lot of things, and it all just kind of meshed really well, and we were really enjoying each other's company. So I went round to their house one night for like dinner and drinks and stuff, and then what happened, Nikki?
Well, you walked into the living room and saw a picture of yourself on my TV, and why am I on your TV? That's really creepy.
Why am I on your TV? Wearing like an outfit you've never seen me in. That's like a nice outfit. That's one of the outfits that I usually wear when I'm singing at like a wedding or something.
And it turns out Jules was in fact the singer at my wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which was kind of a fascinating and wonderful recognition. So it turns out Nikki's actually been really good friends with the lead guitarist in my band for a long time. Hi, shout out Mike Fowler, who will never watch this because he's not a TTRPG guy at all.
But he will be very excited we mentioned him.
Yes, that's true. So yeah, we actually I was at Nikki and Shane's wedding, which is kind of cool. It was an incredible wedding, actually. I was very excited to be there and then annoyed that I had to do serious, boring sound check stuff and I couldn't suss out all the circus performers that you had.
Yes, the circus performers. So it turns out when your English husband says, It's really traditional to have a magician at the wedding. Do you mind if I get one? And you say, yep, babe, whatever you need, that's fine. He calls the local circus school and they get really excited to have somewhere that everyone can perform. And you wind up with stilt walkers and fire breathers and fire dancers and jugglers and a balloon animal maker who was very excited there were no children at the wedding. And yeah, kind of just a really fun time for everyone. There was also the Felag crew doing a live medieval fighting reenactment for us, where they dressed up in mine and Shane's favorite colors and split all the guests and taught everybody how to use weapons, because when you're dressed in your finest suit, what do you need if not a battle axe?
Of course. It makes complete sense to me. And so I was annoyingly having to do things like sound check and make sure we had speakers plugged in. And then after all of that, and it's finally the band's time to play, where's the bride, Nikki? Where's the bride?
She was fixing her dress because her nephew may have stood on it and there might have been a rip that meant the first dance was going to be a little impossible. But I did make it, and you only had a minor panic attack from what I understand.
No, it was very funny actually, because I was like, is the bride here? Like, we're supposed to be playing. They're going to be so mad at us if we don't start playing soon, but how are we supposed to start playing without the bride? So it was a very, very funny very funny evening. And I love that that's actually technically our meeting, like our meet cute, even though we didn't really meet that night so much as to be like, oh my God, you look great in that dress. And then, oh yeah, I'll play your favorite song. You know, like it was very, you know, yeah, very funny. Yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of how we realized that we knew each other, and we had this amazing like back history, and that was really fun to recognize. But that's actually not why I fell in love with Nikki and Shane and the concept of the store that they have. So because the things that you do for RPG, Nikki and Shane, I know that you're out there listening. I've seen him in the chat because Jules needs a kobold for her house. Shane, we've talked about this. It's over $1,000 and it stands this high. Where would I put it?
Right in that corner behind your door.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter that I can't close the door. It's fine. To be fair, you probably should visit the website if you haven't seen it already. There is a life-size kobold, and that's if you're not in Wellington. If you are in Wellington, where are they going, Nikki? What's the address?
So we are at 199 Jackson Street in Petone. Right in the middle. Great parking at the library. Don't try and park on Jackson Street. That is always a horrible experience. But yeah.
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
easy to find, super near buses.
Look for the clock tower, can't go wrong. Yeah, that's always my thing when I tell people where to find it. Jackson Street, look for the clock tower, it's just down from that. But, yep, absolutely. So yeah, no, I'm not buying the kobold.
It sounds like there's been a vote.
I mean, honestly, the chat is like overwhelmingly for me spending $1,000 on a kobold. It's not even 1,000, it's over $1,000.
We can do you a deal.
Shane, cut it out. Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of where you can find Bea DnD, and it started off much smaller than we find it now, right? Like a much smaller kind of version of the beautiful thing you can visit now.
Yeah, it originally started over lockdown from the spare room in my house that I wound up having to kick my brother out of so I could claim it back as there just gathered more and more boxes. Kind of overtrade me because during lockdown I rediscovered my love of D&D along with my darling husband and a bunch of his friends and their children, and couldn't find a female elf mini to save my life that was in any way decently dressed and like not a creepy looking rogue. So I started just buying them myself from the States and importing them in, and it was cheaper to get them 6 at a time, so I put the rest on Trade Me, and all of a sudden I was working a full-time job and packing packages to send out to people at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the boxes got a lot in the house, so I opened a store kind of as a side note so that we could get the product out of my house, not really thinking that it was going to take off anywhere near where it is.
It went hallways first, right? And all the way through the house. I remember visiting your wardrobe and being amazed that there was more D&D products than shoes. And the shoes are impressive, by the way. I remember the shoes. It sticks in my head. And then the
they
garage.
Do have their own wall.
Yeah. And then the garage, right? And then the storage unit. Yeah. And then a store. Because it all just kind of got out of hand, but also wonderfully, wonderfully out of hand. So yeah, like, how did that process go? You're just like, I need a store, just that one go?
Like, well, I looked around for a little while, and like the original smaller side of our store, because we have expanded since, I just really liked the feel for the space. I assumed that I was pretty much just going to be in there picking orders, and that the like community side of it wasn't going to take off anywhere near as well as it did. The original plan was that I would keep my full-time job and work the store with one part-timer. I think that lasted about a week. Like, we kind of knew that we had bitten off a little bit more than we could chew when leaving the store at 4 a.m. on opening day, after soldering together the light sign and getting everything finally ready for us to open our doors, already a week behind our original schedule. We already had people lining up outside who all wished us well going home to shower, and then we're still there when we came back.
Yep. And I think like most of us were just so excited because, you know, we'd seen the online store for a while and it was good and it had great stuff on it, and we were just like, what's that gonna look like on shelves, like in a game store that is made more for, you know, us who want to play like TTRPGs and you know, have a really good board game range and all of these things that you guys did so well. So, you know, was the stretch or the growth, because, you know, most gaming stores that you go into, the TTRPG section is like this little hidden dirty secret down the back of the store. So like, why, like, was it just the love of it, or?
Role-playing games have always been more my thing than, like, I love a good board game, but like role-playing games have always kind of, like, I was a drama student in high school, like any excuse to dress up and pretend to be somebody else for an hour.
Yep, kindred cells.
And so it just kind of grew from there, and that was kind of where I wanted to focus my energy. Like, D&D is a great game that is a remarkable stepping stone into an amazing world that has so many options that people just don't realize are out there. So I kind of wanted to make it part of my mission to get people to understand that it's a stepping stone. It's not the be-all and end-all if you don't want it to be, and there is a role-playing game out there for pretty much everyone.
There really is, actually. In fact, you know my addiction at the moment. It's not just D&D. I'm addicted to My Little Pony game, Tales of Equestria. And I love you for bringing in all of the game books for me so I can buy them all. Yes. And I think that's what makes you guys different too. You sort of like, instead of just going, this is what we stock and this is only what we're going to stock, you go and you listen to what people are wanting and you see if you can get it, which I really, really love. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that we've started doing on Sundays at 2 o'clock is we do basically a, like, switch the system kind of session where every Sunday at 2 o'clock we'll run a game in store that is anything except D&D. Nice. So we've got our 11 a.m. D&D session for under 15s to learn to play, and then a 4 o'clock session for all of the grown-ups who can be beginners or experienced, or the many DMs who never get to play anymore. And then in the middle of the day, we get Star Wars and Alien and Zombicide and all of those like kind of weird indie games that don't get anywhere near as much energy as they need.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's good. Like, I really appreciate that there's somewhere for people to go, and with really great DMs too. So, like, what do you do there? Like, how do you get these people? I mean, I know how you got me to run games in your store. I was just so keen to be involved with something so cool. But is it always that easy, or are you looking for DMs to help you out, or like what?
Well, we're always keen to take on new DMs. Basically, I wanted a varying range of different DMs to basically prove that even if you're playing the same game, it can be completely different with somebody else running it. Like, as a DM, I personally I don't like combat heavy games. I'm much more of a, then there was this giant intriguing thing that you now have to go and investigate. So like Call of Cthulhu is kind of more where I land, just because it's that little bit more creepy.
Yeah. Love a
but
bit
yeah,
of Eldritch horror in my life. Yeah.
But yeah, and so it was just kind of one of those things where like we tried to get so we try to get varying people in so that they can kind of do theater of the mind, and some of them do really many heavy games, and some of them just like kind of take an idea that's 2 lines and run with it, which is kind of where the Kickstarter came in. And then others like fully plan out their games and then get completely thrown out when the players chase a butterfly for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's entirely true. And honestly, every time you go into the store, there's something exciting going on the tables, it looks like. So I know that you run Magic the Gathering tournaments, and I know that you play all these different types of RPGs, but there's also a lending library, right?
Yeah, so we've got a lending library in store where basically people can come in and for like $10 a person, or negotiable, because it's more about like getting the games out there and having people play them and try them out. And board games are getting more and more expensive all of the time from so many levels, and so sometimes it's really good to be able to play the game before you shell out $150 to try and like own it yourself. Like, you kind of need to know if that's actually the way to go for you.
Yeah, 100%. And I know, yeah, I've really appreciated being able to do that, and getting really good recommendations from some of the team as well led to me buying and loving Wingspan. Adore the game. And then we ended up buying Everdell. Again, huge favorite. Pretty much every game that you've ever told me to buy, I've always really enjoyed. The ones that I bought that you didn't necessarily tell me to buy, not as good, honestly. So I think I'm gonna stick to your recommendations. Psycho Killer, great game. Yeah, there's so many good stores. Oh, somebody just asked, is Bea DnD a store? So they must know you from the interwebs, right?
Yes, so we do have a physical store. We are a really fun place that people can in fact visit.
Yes, it's real. So next time you're in Wellington, make the pilgrimage, because it's totally worth it. They started as this little slither of a store in Jackson Street, Petone, and they just kind of like took over the store next door to them when it closed. They just kind of like pushed down a wall and just got bigger suddenly. It was kind of amazing. And it looks incredible, right? Like the artwork everywhere. It's just not, not your average gaming store. It is a fantasy wonderland in there. And did you want to tell me about why that is? Why you've got such amazing pictures everywhere?
Well, the artwork is all done by my husband, Shane, so he definitely helps out a lot there. But also, if I was going to have to spend 90% of my time somewhere, I didn't want to be staring at blank walls and, like, half-hung up posters. So yeah. We definitely, like, I made it a place that I wanted to spend my time.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it feels like it. Even going into the toilet, right? There's like crazy things and portals poking out at you as you're doing your biz, which is kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. So yeah, if you haven't already been to the store, I really, really recommend a pilgrimage down there. You will get sucked in. Your wallet will take a hit because the walls and walls and walls of dice and minis and shelves of all sorts of excellentness. Just, I spend hours there and I visit all the time. In fact,
and when you're not there, you spend hours searching my website.
I do. Yes, at your table sometimes. Yeah. In fact, I just picked up the latest haul and I haven't even opened it yet. But I do love the little individual stickers with my name on them so that you know that it's really me. Yeah, you guys do good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you've got questions in the chat, please fire them through. We'd love to answer anything that you have burning in your brain. Also, I did look up the kobold so you guys can see it. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm trying to get my camera to focus on it, but it's not doing. Oh, there we go.
Oh, no, you had it for a second.
Yeah, I know I had it for a second, but look at him holding a spear, and he stands fully like this tall. It's kind of amazing. You actually
We've got a blue version up in the store.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see the blue version if you wander on into the store. Okay. All right. We've talked about the store, and we've talked about how we met. We briefly mentioned Shane. So how does Shane feel about the fact that we went from 3 a.m. just kind of the other ones of the minis that you bought to what this is now?
Well, he's really mad that so far he has to keep his day job. He has definitely been enjoying basically everything that's grown from this, and it does take a lot of our time and creative energy. So basically when he is not at his day job, he is at the store running games or doing artwork or setting something up. He is the one that is in charge of most of our website images and all those sorts of things, and making sure that all of that's up to date, because it turns out that there is not enough hours in the day.
Nope. And speaking of not enough hours in the day, we actually have someone on the other side of the world in the chat right now, and they want to know what some of the big RPG sellers besides D&D or Pathfinder are. So what's hot sellers in your store?
Call of Cthulhu is definitely a big one. Vampire the Masquerade.
Ooh, yeah.
There's another one that I always get the name of wrong, and when I say it the wrong way around, it sounds like a very different game. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, great question, DM Chromie, and thanks for joining us in the chat here tonight. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Disturbed One NZ said aliens ? But that's because he knows.
Alien is also another one. Thirsty Sword Lesbians.
Oh yes. In fact, Thirsty Sword Lesbians is sold out right now, and I can't even buy it.
Yeah. So yeah, basically once it comes in, it leaves really quickly. It took me a really long time to find a supplier for it, and yeah, do not regret that decision at all.
No. I do really enjoy that you guys go out of your way to not just stock, the easy stuff, like the Wizards, the Pathfinder. That would be easy if you just stuck there, right? But you don't. You go way deep, go into all of these different RPG companies, and I love it.
I'm also getting reminded by Shane, who is watching, the Passion de la Passions is the new one that we have in, which is an RPG game that is entirely based on telenovelas.
Yes, and it's so good.
And the covers are amazing, and I have yet to get a chance to play it, but I do have a copy sitting there waiting for me to read it because it's amazing. Yeah, as somebody in the chat just mentioned, Magical Kitties is another one.
Oh, I like the Magical Kitty set that comes with the little kitty models. That's very good. Yes.
Yeah, and then there's Animal Adventures where you've got all of them, and they've just released a new version, which is the Faraway Sea, which you can also... is one of the modules for Free RPG Day, which is
I did want to
hopefully
talk about
coming
that.
up on the 24th. But yeah, so there's a bunch of them.
Amazing. We have had a question with like, is there a system that you want to try but haven't yet, and why that one? Is it that?
Yeah. It's probably that one. Like, yeah, we've only had it in store for about a week, and I just haven't had time to sit down and actually like play it through yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also like with there not being enough hours in the day, like there's always something new that kind of looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit obsessed with the game Final Girl at the moment, which is not an RPG, but it is a solo board game where you are the final girl in a horror movie and you are trying to hunt down the killers in different locations. And it's a solo player game that you can play repeatedly, and all of
Ooh.
the like movie themed modules all connect with each other, so you can play in different locations with different monsters
I like
and
that.
different girls, and it's like, yeah, that one's a lot of fun.
Good. Good. Okay. I see. There's another recommendation I might have to pick up. But somebody in the chat really wants to know what the biggest seller in the store is. Like, they're curious to, like, they explain, like, whether it's dice that's, like, the biggest seller or just, like, generic D&D stuff is the biggest seller. Like, what's the hot?
Um, Probably dice, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have so many that, like, yeah, between dice and miniatures, like, that's definitely a huge chunk of our sales every week.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with the fact that basically we're trying to get as much of a range as possible
Yeah.
between everything.
Yeah, I think I bought like several different brands of dice, which I appreciate. Yeah, and some of the dice on your website right now, if you buy them, they give like charity donations to different places, which is pretty cool. Did is that something that came from the supplier or like?
No, that is something we came up with ourselves because after many years of working in the corporate world where there are certain charities that are acceptable and certain ones that are not, which I didn't love,
Yep.
I now get to make up the rules. And so, yeah, for every sort of Rainbow Dice, we gift $5 to Rainbow Youth. And for like at Christmas time, we give money to City Mission if you buy the Christmas themed dice.
Yeah. That's
Basically just our way of giving back.
yeah, it's very cool and I love it. Like I think it's the community aspect that I love about the store. Like even when you're in the store, people who don't know each other are talking to each other because they're like, oh, I bought that and it's so cool. And then they just end up in this random conversation in the store. And I'm definitely one of them. I do that all the time. And it's very, very fun to be able to engage there in just such a friendly, happy, welcoming, awesome space. So well done you guys for building that, because you know that's all down to like how the store is hosted and you know and how the team manage it. How many, you said you imagined doing this with just you and one other? I imagine it's not just one other anymore, right?
No, there is quite the team now. In fact, we've just taken on 2 newbies, so I think there's 10 of us now.
Woo!
Between like between the store and fulfilling all our online orders. So yeah, like because with every online order, everybody gets
Yeah.
a specific like handwritten thank you card. Jeremy's are definitely the best, but we'll see how the new boys go.
Yeah, I definitely love that. I think it's very cute. Even me, like they'll write little messages to me even though they know it's me, which I love. Yeah. We got more questions in the chat. Okay, so what have we got here? Is there an area that you'd love to expand into that you just haven't been able to yet for one reason or another?
Space is kind of our biggest like holdback at the moment. Like basically trying to make sure that everything kind of has the space that it needs to expand in the way that it does. I really enjoy the fact that nothing in our store has a plug. Although the amount of people that come in and are like, hi, my son's Xbox is broken, what do I do? And I can be like, oh, PBT's just down the road, they'll fix it. Like,
Yep.
but
That's true.
But yeah, like there's nothing kind of that's jumped out at us like stock wise.
Mm.
Like we thought about doing clothing with like a bunch of like Shane's designs on it and stuff, but yeah,
Not
nothing that's like a thing we're hanging out for just yet.
Yes, I get you. Although I would absolutely kill for a Shane design t-shirt. Are you kidding me? Yes. That would be very cool. Yeah, because speaking of Shane and art and things like that, there's a massive project that you've just undertaken recently, right? A pretty insane project, and I want to hear how this came about, because I know you've told me the story over a glass of wine, but I feel like everybody else would get a kick out of this too. So Shane, sitting there watching, how did this come about, Nikki?
Well, basically, so Shane puts out magic items on our Instagram page like every every day pretty much. And so we were talking about whether or not we wanted to start a Patreon so that we could like get people more and more detail about their magic items and everything.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that Shane decided to start a Kickstarter for basically adventure hooks. So it all started in a tavern is the name of the book that,
Yes.
thanks to the fact that it was funded so quickly and it went so much crazier than we could ever have imagined, much like everything else. We are now looking at, well, basically once the format is all set up, we will be getting them printed up and selling our own books in store, which is
I'm
pretty
so
cool.
excited. I'm so excited for you guys. I can't believe it went from we designed these cool magic items on our, on our socials, which, by the way, out there, if you're not already following Bea DnD or Bea DnD Games, they kind of a little bit of a mix of all of it on their socials. Follow both on Facebook, very important. If you aren't already following their socials, definitely do. It's full of amazing RPG tips, really cool little like magic items, and they showcase all this different like games and new products that are coming through, cool shiny dice, and Bea. And I feel like we haven't really addressed Bea.
The Bea in BD&D.
Yeah, the Bea in Bea DnD. Like, what's...
Let's see if I can get her to come and talk to me.
Yeah. I see trees.
She's usually a fan of video calls, but at the moment we're being a little bit difficult. So Beatrice is our cat.
Yes.
If you follow us on Instagram, she does say good morning and good night every day. Occasionally when she has decided that she is going to be camera shy, it does become one of her friends, because it turns out most of my staff also have cats. And so they get honorable mentions. But yes, she is Beatrice, who puts the B in BD&D.
Mm-hmm. And so you recently changed your logo. That has been your logo for a very long time, and you can actually see it on our stream. I've got the cute little like kitty Bea DnD logo up there, and that's because Bea's in charge, man.
Yeah, I'll see if I can grab her.
Yeah, go. I will dance and sing until you get back. Da-da-da-da. I'm so excited! It's Bea! Kitty. Hi, Bea! Bea's amazing. Bea is just the absolute queen of cats. Never really wants to be gone towards, like if you go towards her, she's like, no, thank you, but
you have to, you have to wait until she comes to you.
Yes, it's very much no, I will come to you now on my terms and in my time. So I always feel very blessed by a visit from Bea. Yes, and I do love that you named your store after your cat. I feel like we all have dreams of doing that. Like, it's just really deep in my heart that I want to name everything after Muesli, because I love him so much. He's the man of my, mine of my world. But yes, I haven't done it. And I just really admire you.
Well, yeah, she's also featured quite heavily in the artwork.
Yes.
And yeah, we have managed to, although she's never actually been into the store, we have managed to Photoshop her into a few things because she definitely is not a fan of leaving the house.
I feel like that's like a little Where's Wally around the store, right? It's like, see if you can find Bea. Yeah.
Yeah, we had one of our younger players was telling me about her Tabaxi character that she plays in her game, and she told me I wasn't allowed to judge her because she'd named her character Phoenix after her cat. Well, I sat there going, I named my whole store after my cat. There will be no judgment.
Yeah, I love it. So blessed. Look, the stream is blessed even now by a visit. We did have a couple of questions that came up before we went well down that track. One of them is that everybody wants Shane t-shirts or Bea DnD t-shirts. So apparently that's Shane's next project, I guess. We've got it sorted. And the other question was, are you thinking about expanding anywhere? Because there were several questions in the chat, like, I wish I had a Bea DnD in Tauranga. Like, are you guys coming anywhere else? Like, so any thoughts about that?
There have been a lot of thoughts. No consolidated plans as yet. We do go to all of the regional Armageddons just so that we can get out and say hi to all of our wonderful customers all over the country, because there are a lot of them, and it's quite mind blowing, really.
It really is, Yep. In fact, if you go to the Fate of Isen event for this stream, there is a cute picture of me and Nikki at Palmy Armageddon where we were repping together. So definitely if you are at any of the Armageddons, you guys were even at WellieCon, the board game convention in Wellington. So if there isn't a convention that has something to do with board games or roleplay or any of that stuff, you could probably bet that Bea is there. And if you are following on the socials, then you'll definitely see photos and selfies of whoever's repping the stall this time. So, because, I think it's about, 3 or 4 of your 10 are usually manning a store somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah. So we usually, so it's definitely a split group. We've managed to take a different staff member, at least, along to each of the Armageddons so far this year, so that more and more people can meet more and more of our team.
Which is very cool, actually, because it's kind of fun when you get to see all the faces behind Bea and who makes it cool. Disturbed one and said, yeah, you made the WellieCon stall pic. He was like, that's me in your social media photos. That's because you were looking at more dice. Disturbed one NZ. Don't make me say your real name on stream. I know. You came over with more dice. It's true. It happens.
We have a few customers that definitely come in and tell me that their dice are rolling badly, so they need to buy new ones. And on a few pushes, it usually turns out that the dice are not rolling badly at all. They just really want more dice.
Yeah. What it is that I said to you while I was scrolling through 29 pages of dice there were when I was looking through. That's insane, but it's great. And I was scroll. I had many, and I was like, I don't really need more dice, but I need more dice because I've lost one of this dice and now it's not a full set, and it's barely able to play with if it's not a full set, and I don't have any dice with things inside them, so I guess I need some of them. And this one's a really cool color, and this one gives money to charity, and this one has a dog in it. And dogs just should be bought. I think it was you that had to talk me out of buying 2 sets with dogs in them. Yeah, I did not show great restraint, Shane. I showed no restraint. I have a bag full of dice here beside me. I promise to unpack in another stream to prove that point.
Hey, there was a game as well. The fact that it was called Zombie Dice is beside the point.
That is beside the point. Yeah. That one was really the only thing my partner had asked for, and the only reason I was scrolling for dice. But it was a great excuse.
We had to go through all 26 pages to get to Z.
We do have another question. It's a good question from my friend Samsara, who actually usually does the tech for the show. So Samsara, how am I doing? Am I okay? Samsara wants to know, when will you have Vampire the Masquerade dice in stock, and what are my chances of buying them before Charlie, one of your team?
So I can't guarantee that you will get them before Charlie. But I'm sure we can arrange something.
Maybe like hide one.
Yeah, like I'll hide one from it. But yeah, at the moment, all of our suppliers are actually out of the dice, and they are on back order with our suppliers. But we do have them on order, and I am waiting, so I can let you know when they come in. Also, if you tick the button on our website that says, like, let me know when this item comes back in stock, that is actually working now. It turns out it wasn't for about the first 6 months we were open, but we have worked out what it is, and we now do have that going. So if you hit that button, you'll get an email the second that they're entered into stock.
There you go. So get hitting those buttons on the gear that you're waiting for, and then you'll be able to just click add to cart as soon as they come back in. That'll be very handy.
And then Charlie can't buy them.
Yeah, exactly. Because you will have done it before. Unless Charlie is entering them into... I guess we're just not allowed to let Charlie enter them into stock.
It's okay, Charlie doesn't enter them into stock. Shane has taken full control of that one for me, because... yeah, it's a lot. We tend to have new stuff going in every week, so.
Yeah, so you were telling me there was something like when you buy stock loads, you buy them in like 8 times of whatever it is, and your loads are more like containers now, not really like pallets anymore.
Yeah, so we're getting pallets of stock delivered at least once a week at the moment.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's great because, like, obviously being an online store, you're sending all over the place as well as putting in the store. So, we know your house isn't full of stock anymore, which is wonderful.
As it's being pointed out in the chat, though, I do keep bringing the ones I want home with me.
That's true, though. I'm always like, oh, I wanted a copy of that. Nikki is like, well, I've got one. Pretty much everything. But that is one of the advantages of owning your own store, right? You get to keep whatever you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great. Baloras says, are you going to be stocking some of the D&D alternatives in the works, like Kobold Press and Darrington Press's Daggerheart? I know Kobold Press, but I don't know much about the second one.
Yeah, so we do stock quite a lot of Kobold Press stuff at the moment. So it is definitely something that we keep an eye on and that we
you guys have got Epic Adventures as well, which is another one as well. Like that's an alternative or sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I will have to look into the Darrington Press one because I have not, I personally haven't, but I am getting messages from Shane, who is probably about to tell me that, yes, he knows all about it and it is, like, on order and he is doing all of the research.
Nice! That's cool.
So and then the one thing with, I've also been told the latest Kobold Press one, retailer Kickstarter wouldn't ship outside the USA, so we are very aware of it, but have it on our watch list, and apparently Darrington Press is on Shane's watch list.
There you go. See? They're all over it. You know why? Because they're fans of the game, which actually makes a difference, right? They're like looking into what you want. In terms of games that are unavailable in NZ but that you don't currently stock, I imagine it might be like similar, right? Like it might be that they don't ship or some of that kind of stuff.
Also, it's just like there is, like, when it comes to people that supply to New Zealand, there's only a few suppliers that will actually ship to this part of the world, unfortunately, and
We're just so little and so far away.
yeah, and then it was things like when it came to Vampire the Masquerade, the one distributor that we could find that would get it in was ordering like 4 books at a time the from the presses, and then I'm sitting there going, "Cool, can I have all of them?"
Yeah,
And also,
yeah, like
I would like 2 more boxes. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like, they're probably just not used to people, like, demanding in so much quantity, I guess, because, you know, everywhere else is only stocking D&D. Isn't it wonderful that we have somewhere to go that is putting things on watch lists? And I know from experience, too, if you send them an email with anything that's on your watch list that you're hoping to get hold of, they'll at least look into it. And if they can get it, they will, even if it takes like 6 months to a year to finally arrive. Like, you know.
like, I'll find it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've had loads of chats about all sorts of different things. Folders for like cards and blah 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 blah, so many things, and it's all led to amazing different products and offers in store, which is pretty awesome. So RPG free day, I wanted to talk about that. So fingers crossed the stuff arrives in time, right? Because again, we're little and we're all the way down here, and it has to come all the way from the States in order to arrive on time. But tell us about what it is, and yeah.
So basically, Free RPG Day is when a bunch of publishers put together a box of random one-shots and dice and like random gifts and things, and they put it all together, and then the stores can pick up a box of stuff and we can run games all day using the one-shot booklets. The only rule for being part of it is that everything that is in the Free RPG Day kits is available to patrons for free.
Yes.
And so Jules is kindly going to run some games for us.
Yeah. So this is like the stuff that we had from last year. I was running games all day, so I was kind of there to pick up a whole bunch of stuff, and the store was nice enough to let me do so. Because, you know, we were hanging out all day and having fun. But yeah, like, we had the opportunity to pick up so many different games, and try so many different stuff. There was copies of, like, Mauritius Ray's, like, A Familiar Problem that you couldn't really get anywhere. You know, there was all these amazing opportunities to play, like, you know, classics and Root and Stargate and Cyberpunk, and we were running adventures all over the place, as well as, you know, painting minis and just having a great grand old time. So yeah, I really, if you can, if we look out for the socials, keep an eye on that, and if they come on time, then we'll be on the 24th of June back there again. I'll be there all day again, hanging out, running games, and having fun. So, yeah, and then you get to see Shane. I think Shane's running some again this year.
Shane is running opposite you for random games throughout the day. So, yeah, it should be a good one.
Yes, it's going to be very good. I'm just making sure we haven't missed any questions. Yeah, Amy, I wish you were local too. You and Samsara need to pick up and move to Wellington so you can be my in-person tech and support team and moderators. I'm just so demanding.
But in the meantime, a day trip on the 24th of June.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh, thanks, Nikki and the team, for that staff pick for my Snake God mini from last month's punting competition. Yay! That was you? That was so cool. So what's that about, Nikki? You might as well talk about that, seeing as it's been brought up.
Yeah, so every month we basically take all of we get sent, because we got sent so many pictures of people painting their minis and just how cool they were, we turned around and started running a month-by-month paint competition where it doesn't need to be bought in our store. It doesn't need to have anything to do with us. You might just want to show off something cool that you've painted. And then basically our staff get to pick one, Shane and I pick one, and then Gwen, who is our resident paint guru, picks
good.
like an overall winner, and then you get basically store credit that you can use online or in store to purchase more minis or more paints or more paintbrushes or basically anything you need to keep doing the thing you love.
Yeah, and I know that you guys have all the Army Painter, like, stuff, the extras and stuff, too, don't you? You've got little, like, sand and snow and stuff in store, too, so really highlight your minis if you feel like checking that out. That's all there, too. Yeah, that's right. Samsara won some credit because of that, too, at one point. Yeah, I remember that. Samsara actually has a mini painting stream, so basically cheating because this amazing painter, aren't you, Samsara? Keeps promising she's going to come to my house and paint all my minis, but there's a lot of them, so that's going to take a while. Yeah, because I keep buying them all. That's where the movement comes in. Yeah, that's right. The Mushroom Queen mini. I remember. Yes. Yeah, cool. All right. Was there anything else that we wanted to cover off tonight? Like, I know we've done loads of talking. But I was trying to think if we've covered all of the things we were going to cover. How much I love you, how are you my favorite store, all the cool things that we do, all the things that you can do in the store and online. Anything to watch out for, I guess. Anything coming soon?
Kickstarter brain.
I know. Kickstarter brain.
Yeah, like, definitely, like, one of the things that we're currently looking into is whether or not we... I'm just getting told how much Jules needs a kobold.
I know! He's in the chat doing it too! Where would I even put it, Shane? Look at this. My office is not that big. You can still see my dinner. Like, Burger King cup. Did everybody get, like, weird, like, you know, what do you call that? When you, like, dizziness when I'm moving my camera around? I guess you could put it on the ceiling. D20.
Go with your D20 light.
That's how much I love D&D. It's even on my ceiling.
But yeah, like, I think, like, the next thing that we're kind of looking into is, like, setting up some online role-playing games, so that people can stream with our DMs in store, and we can kind of give more of that experience to all of our customers that live further and further away from us. Yeah, because, like, you're growing in New Zealand customers, and that means that you've got a lot of them that are crazy amounts of space away from you, which is sadness. We did miss a question, apparently. Are there any weird games to keep an eye out for, like Players Are Sandwiches? I've never heard of that game. Sounds amazing. Like, here for it.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Or any awesome board games that you think people should get. Like, I know we've talked about Final Girl. Anything else that people should absolutely get? Oh my god,
Ark
there's a
Nova
Colvin.
is another really amazing one that I think you would really enjoy. Basically, you are building your own zoo. So far, every time I've played it, I've wound up with negative points, but it's still awesome.
I look forward to seeing how that happens.
Don't give up everything to get an elephant.
Got it. I feel like I would though, because it's an elephant.
Like every time.
Yeah.
One of the games that I saw played at WellyCon is Meadow, which is a really pretty game. That looks like it's a relaxing board game, which I know is a weird, like, contradiction in terms when everybody's used to Monopoly with his table flipping. But
okay, so over lockdown, I created a lot of videos because I literally was by myself and I was very, very insanely bored. My only other flatmate usually was at work because he was health sector related, so he could be. There's a video of me playing Monopoly with my soft toys, and I nearly lost. dear, it's very bad. Also, the our poll has been created as to whether I should get the kobold. And pretty much half the chat has voted yes. This has gone wildly out of control.
I feel like we should definitely let Samsara know though that you won't bow to peer pressure, and I definitely won't hold you to the poll.
No. Don't worry, Samsara. They won't make me buy it, because otherwise they'd have to deliver it to my house essentially, and then try and fight me for the money. Although I feel like you just get me drunk and then I'd buy it anyway. Because I love the kobold. Kevin in the store is so huggable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the blue kobold in the store is called Kevin, and he's very cool.
And then we have a green goblin named Boblin the Goblin.
Boblin? Yes. Yes, very, very cute. In fact, I think, yep, there we go. I've got the Boblin the Goblin D20. Yeah, you can buy a Boblin dice set, like a whole load of them, just to be like, yeah, I have the Bea DnD in-store mini dice. It's very cool. Cool. Was there any more questions? There was a lot of voting about about the kobold. And, oh god, and my ninja roll video. Okay, so yeah, if you really want to see me showing you what some of the different D&D classes are like, I made videos of rogues and druids and sorcerers and wizards. So you can go see that on...
The ninja roll video does definitely deserve an honorable mention, though. That was next level.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can go check that out on my YouTube channel, Jules from NZ. Julz from NZ. Yeah. Yeah, see, Kiara says I should get staff discount on the kobold. Your team are in the chat and they're causing havoc, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, I've really enjoyed doing this. We should do this again sometime, Amy. I mean, Amy. Nikki. Amy is saying to me on it, Nikki is on the screen. I'm very confused. We should definitely do this again sometime, Nikki. I very much enjoyed this. Yeah, and it'd be really great if Shane felt like joining us one day too. I know he didn't necessarily want to be on camera, right? He was chilling out in the background, still working. Poor bugger. Because, 2 jobs.
Yeah, it's the 2 jobs of it all.
Yeah, but, yeah, really...
But he does it so I can do what I love. He's very supportive.
Kind of an amazing dude. Gotta hand it to him. And also an incredible guy, good fun to hang out with, an amazing DM. Everybody should go in and give the games that he's running a play, because you can tell, just full of passion when he runs too, just love for the game as well, so... Yeah.
And you never know what kind of craziness will take over.
There's usually a lot of yelling in his alien games, right? Yeah.
His alien games get next level. People get very emotional. And he does definitely encourage high levels of roleplay. So the yelling is real.
Yeah, even in the store. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you for joining us on this week thank you yesterday's model or Christian in the chat saying KiwiRPG week plug. So yeah, it is KiwiRPG week. We really wanted to highlight and celebrate some of our local amazing things that are going on in New Zealand, and we really wanted you to meet some of the power behind the amazing local Aotearoa gaming store that we have here, Bea DnD. How much we love them, how much you should love them, how much if you're looking for something, they can probably either have it already or help you get it. So they're
speaking of yes, there is also a full-size mimic on its way. Not to Jules's house unless she gets it.
Amazing. Yes. So keep your yeah. Everybody's like, oh my god, in the chat. Yeah. Yep. So please keep an eye out on the other things going on for KiwiRPG. If you have enjoyed hearing about this tonight, we're going to be running and highlighting a whole lot of other stuff you can see and hear, and people that are playing games in New Zealand. We actually have a brand new game that one of the team from Fate of Isen is writing right now. Like, very exciting. We're going to get to see a preview of that. And all of the team are going to be on tomorrow for a actual play live stream, which will be very fun. I'm really looking forward to everybody being back. So sorry about last week where I was very sick and had to postpone the show. I was very, very sick, so apologies for that, crew. But I'm back, and all good.
And it wasn't COVID.
And it wasn't COVID. It was just like the boring old flu and cold thing. Like, who gets that anymore? You don't even get 5 days off work for that. It sucks. I love that used to be the worst thing, like, that would happen to me in winter, like, just getting a cold and being out for a couple of days, but, yeah, weird. Life is weird. So, yeah, loads more on all around KiwiRPG. There's so many good streams going on right now, great podcasts, cool content being released. Go check out the KiwiRPG bundle on RPG Drive-Thru. There's just amazing things everywhere. So please support local for this week. That's really what we're trying to get you to do. And it's so easy to support local when it's so amazing. So yeah, that's really all I had to say. Did you want to say goodbye, Nikki, to the crew?
Thanks for tuning in. It's been fun.
Maybe we'll do more of it. Who knows? Because the future is mystery.
Doing more of it, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we were actually before this talking about doing more of it, weren't we? But yeah, I'm really busy. And it got really hard, and you were really busy, and it got really hard for two of us to put our down. But we're going to work harder on this, because I think it'd be fun. I'd love to do, like, more reviews of product and do stuff. So maybe we'll come up with something in the future, and you'll get to see me and Nikki chatting again. That would be amazing. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. I've been DM Jules on Fate of Isen, and this has been Bea from Bea DnD playing with a bag, as cats do. And obviously Nikki from Bea DnD. And we just want to say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for joining in tonight. We really appreciate you. A big old aroha nui, ka kite ano, and inohora. I already said aroha nui, but aroha nui again, because I just love you that much. So goodbye, I love you. See you again soon. Bye.